My name is Charlotte Evans. I'm 37 years old, and I live in Portland, Oregon, USA. For nearly 2 decades, I was married to a man who believed his only job was to earn money, and everything else in life magically handled itself. Spoiler, that magic was me. This story isn't about heartbreak or love. It's about pettiness served cold. It's been 5 years since our divorce, and I thought I'd moved on. Until one day, my phone started ringing again, and my ex-husband reminded me exactly why I left. It started on a random Tuesday afternoon, the kind of day that feels like white noise. I was halfway through an iced coffee when my phone buzzed with a familiar number I hadn't seen in years. For a moment, I thought it was a mistake. Surely he had no reason to call me after all this time. But when I answered, his voice, sharp, impatient, and full of that same arrogance I once tolerated, made my stomach twist. "Charlotte, you need to call the insurance company," he barked, skipping any greeting. I blinked, confused. "Excuse me?" I said, sipping my drink slowly. "They won't take you off my policy unless you call." His tone was commanding, like this was still the marriage where he gave orders, and I jumped to fix everything. My first instinct was laughter, but I bit it back. After 5 years, this was why he called? He kept talking, faster and angrier. Apparently, my name was still listed on both his home and auto insurance. He'd tried everything, he said. The company just wouldn't remove me. Every word dripped with accusation, like it was somehow my fault his life was still tangled in paperwork I hadn't touched in half a decade. "You have to fix this today," he demanded. I leaned back in my chair and let his voice roll off me like rain. That night, he called again, and the next day, and the next. Each time, his tone got more desperate, more condescending. He used words like urgent and problem, as if the world would crumble if I didn't stop everything to make his life easier. I had spent years being his secretary, his planner, his mother, his emotional sponge. And even now, divorced and free, he was still reaching out like I was on his payroll. After nearly a week of his pestering, I gave in, not out of guilt, but out of curiosity. I wanted to see if his story was even true. So I called the insurance company myself. A polite woman answered, cheerful in that customer service way. I explained the situation, expecting a quick fix. Instead, she paused and said, "That's strange. We actually can remove you at any time. We just need his authorization." My eyebrows shot up. "So he never called?" I asked. She chuckled softly. "No, ma'am. There's no record of him reaching out, not once." I couldn't help but laugh. It was so him. Too lazy to make a 2-minute phone call, yet angry enough to hound me for a week straight. The agent's tone grew conspiratorial. "You know, changing his status from married to single will raise his premium considerably. Is he sure he wants to do that?" The pettiness in me stretched, purred, and woke up. "Oh yes," I said sweetly. "He's very sure. In fact, I haven't lived there for 5 years, so maybe you should backdate that change. Wouldn't want to charge him for something inaccurate, right?" The woman on the line laughed out loud. "Absolutely," she said. And just like that, a wave of satisfaction rolled over me. Not anger, not spite, just pure poetic justice. When I hung up, I felt a strange peace. It wasn't about revenge, not really. It was about reclaiming the time he'd stolen from me with his laziness, his entitlement, his endless demands. I wasn't his assistant anymore. I didn't owe him favors or fixes or calls. If his new insurance bill hit him hard, that wasn't cruelty, that was math. And math, as they say, is always fair. The next day, my phone stayed quiet. No calls, no messages, just silence. Beautiful, golden silence. I imagined him opening that bill, his jaw tightening, that look of disbelief spreading across his face. Maybe he'd finally realize how much of his easy life was built on the invisible labor I gave him. Or maybe he'd just blame me again. Either way, I was finally free enough not to care. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a character in his story. I was the author now, pen in hand, writing something better, something mine. And as I closed my eyes that night, the words replayed in my head, soft and certain. You asked for it. A week passed before the storm hit. I was cleaning my kitchen when my phone started buzzing again, his name flashing like a warning light. For a moment, I thought about ignoring it, but curiosity got the better of me. The second I answered, I was met with a furious voice. "What did you do?" he shouted. I nearly laughed out loud. There it was, the moment the bill must have landed in his mailbox. "Don't play dumb, Charlotte," he snapped. "They sent me a huge bill. My rates skyrocketed overnight. They said it was because you removed yourself." I let the silence hang for a moment, enjoying the taste of poetic justice. "Well," I said evenly, "I just did what you asked me to, remember? You said to call them." His breathing grew heavier. It was almost musical. He ranted for a few more minutes, something about unfairness, loyalty, and how I'd sabotaged him. The irony nearly made me choke. "You told me to fix it," I reminded him, voice light, calm. "I fixed it." For the first time in years, the balance had shifted. He was the one unraveling, and I was the one standing still. A strange power surged through me, quiet but electric. That night, I poured a glass of wine and replayed the whole conversation in my mind. I remembered every chore, every list, every appointment I'd once handled for him. And then I thought, maybe this was the universe reminding him how it feels to live without an unpaid personal assistant. Maybe karma doesn't always need thunder. Sometimes it comes as a neatly printed bill. The next morning, I got a text. "You really cost me a lot of money. Hope you're happy." I stared at it, then set my phone down. I was happy, not because he suffered, but because I didn't care anymore. That, I realized, was freedom, not revenge, not payback, just peace that didn't need his approval to exist. Still, curiosity got the better of me later that day. I called the same insurance agent again, the one with the friendly laugh. "Oh yes, Miss Evans," she said, instantly recognizing my name. We adjusted everything. His new premium went up quite a bit. He sounded surprised. I smiled. I bet he did. We chatted for a bit, and I asked, purely out of politeness, how much the rate increased. She hesitated, then whispered conspiratorially, "Let's just say he'll notice it every month." My grin widened. "Perfect," I said. I hung up feeling lighter than I had in years. Maybe it was closure. Maybe it was karma's way of writing me a thank you note. Days turned into weeks, and the silence grew comfortable. But one evening, a message popped up from an unknown number. It wasn't him. It was a woman. "You think you're funny?" it read. "You caused problems for my boyfriend." I blinked, then burst out laughing. So that was it. A new girlfriend, angry on his behalf. Suddenly, everything made sense. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Let her learn the same lesson I once did, that men who outsource their responsibilities always come with hidden costs. The truth was simple. I didn't have to lift a finger to make him miserable. Life was doing that for me, and honestly, I hope she had better luck than I did, though I doubted it. Sometimes, I think about how easily people rewrite history. To him, I was probably still the difficult one, the ungrateful wife who left for no reason. But I know the truth. I left because I was exhausted, because love shouldn't feel like management, because I deserve to live without carrying someone else's adulthood. Now, when my phone buzzes, I don't flinch. When the mail comes, I don't dread what it might bring. I built a small, peaceful life for myself. Quiet mornings, strong coffee, friends who actually ask how I'm doing. And every so often, when I pay my own insurance bill, I smile. Because freedom, it turns out, costs less than marriage ever did. And that, I suppose, is the real revenge. Not the bill, not the argument, but the calm that comes after chaos. The kind of calm he'll never have because he's still chasing control. I, on the other hand, stopped needing it. I learned the sweetest power of all, walking away and never looking back. It's been months since the insurance saga ended, and my life has become beautifully, blissfully quiet. The kind of quiet that feels earned. No angry calls, no chaotic reminders, no emotional labor slipping through my fingers. I wake up to the sound of rain on my apartment window and think, this is what peace feels like. Not loud or dramatic, just steady. Like a heartbeat I finally hear again. For so many years, my identity was wrapped around us, the household manager, the fixer, the invisible support beam. Now it's just me, and that's more than enough. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. The first brushstroke felt like breathing after holding my breath for 17 years. Every color I put on canvas whispered, "You came back to yourself." Some nights, I take long walks through downtown Portland. I watch strangers hurry past, couples laugh under neon lights, street musicians play with wild joy. I no longer feel envy or regret, just this deep, grounded gratitude. Life doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be mine. And for the first time, it truly is. Once in a while, memories of him surface. His voice calling my name, the way he'd toss responsibility my way like scraps. But those flashes fade quickly. They don't sting anymore. They just remind me how far I've come. It's strange how healing doesn't come as fireworks. It arrives quietly, in laughter shared with friends, in clean dishes, in not having to explain yourself anymore. I met someone recently, not in a fairy tale way, but simple and kind. He asked me once, "What do you want your life to look like?" No one had ever asked me that before. For a moment, I didn't know how to answer. Then I said, "Peaceful." He smiled and said, "Then let's build peace, not drama." And I realized, maybe love isn't supposed to feel like a battlefield. It's funny, I used to think revenge meant seeing someone suffer, but now I understand it differently. Real revenge is rebuilding a life so beautiful that it makes your past irrelevant. It's laughter echoing through rooms he'll never enter again. It's joy he'll never have the privilege to witness. And it's choosing peace when chaos used to be your normal. I still keep that old insurance letter in a drawer, not as a trophy, but as a reminder. A simple piece of paper that marks the day I stopped being the caretaker and started being the creator of my own life. Whenever doubt creeps in, I unfold it and smile. It's proof that even the smallest act of defiance can lead to the biggest freedom. Sometimes, I wonder if he ever tells the story. Maybe with his version, where I'm still the villain. That's fine. Let him keep his narrative. I've outgrown the need to correct anyone's perspective. People who live in lies need them more than we need the truth. I'm just grateful that my peace no longer depends on his chaos. This isn't a revenge story anymore. It's a resurrection. A slow, quiet return to myself after years of drowning in someone else's expectations. I've learned that starting over doesn't erase the past. It redefines it. Every scar, every lesson, every petty victory stitched together to form the person I am now. Whole, unapologetic, free. So when people ask if I'd ever take him back, I laugh. Not cruelly, just softly, like someone who's already seen the other side of the fire and found something better waiting. No, I tell them, I'm finally home. And that home isn't a place, or a man, or even revenge. It's me, finally, beautifully, entirely me.